Alright guys, and welcome to the 48th episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out where we've been for the past month, which events we're training for the remainder of 2024.
And why Birmingham is still, and always will be, a shithole.
Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. We had our first week's hiatus. Yeah. Has it been a week or 2 weeks?
2 weeks, technically.
2 weeks?
Well, it depends when we upload this. So there was nothing last week, and there's been nothing this
Monday
week.
this week. Okay.
And realistically, this will go out Monday. So we have had a two-week hiatus.
2 week break. See it as like an Easter break for, we need our holiday every now and then, you know.
But when big bands go on hiatus, they normally come back with like a lot of world tour or something of value.
Yeah.
And when we're just in my shed again.
We're in your shed again, and we've actually downgraded our equipment, which is good.
And we haven't really got a plan yet
For how we're going to move forward.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? I mean, we are now going to ask the listeners for their help.
Yeah, and we're going to hash that out now. So that's good. Live on air. That's as far as our preparation goes. So we've been speaking obviously off air, and the podcast plan at the start of the year was to start getting more guests on. That's why we got the kind of Gucci equipment and all that sort of stuff. And then that didn't go to plan, as we mentioned in the last episode, which we won't get too much into, but effectively the mic and the audio just died after a certain point. So if you were to get a guest on, it would just be embarrassing, effectively.
Well, it's got to a point now where it's so temperamental that we basically spend most of the episode second-guessing when it's going to die.
Yeah.
So you can't invite people to talk on your podcast and then have to interrupt them because your setup.
Yeah, because imagine you've got some amazing guest who's going to get into some really, really elaborate, deep point, and then he's, oh, sorry, mate, can you stop there?
Hang on a minute, because I'm a little gimp, right? I don't understand how audio equipment works. Can you say that profound bit again, please?
Yeah, it just doesn't work. The whole point of having an unedited podcast is the fact that it's raw, and the stuff that happens on the initial conversation is what's published, and that obviously wouldn't be the case. So that's why we've got clip-on mics. And the audio is actually better, to be fair, at least on par. What we need to square the circle of is how to get 4 of these going rather than 2, because there's only 2 of us, and there's 2 mics.
So they come in
1 receiver.
Yeah, they come in a little pack of 2 mics, 1 receiver, and we're not sure whether you can then add additional mics to that 1 receiver. If you can, we're laughing, because that's the most kind of like
streamlined.
That's the most streamlined and transportable setup you can have, because then it's just an iPhone and a little box of mics. You could literally record that on the top of Ben Nevis.
Yeah, which we might do.
Which is a good idea, actually.
Yeah, you can see that getting blown over and just like flying off the top of the fucking mountain. But, you know the UE Boom speakers? That's what I'm thinking. They connect and you can have them like surround sound, can't you?
Yeah. So
it would make sense.
Yeah, we want the same with a mic setup, basically. Because otherwise, if not, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and try and work out how our audio interface actually works and get to the bottom of that. Yeah. But I've got to the point now where I've just lost interest.
It's lost.
It's just like
lost respect for it now from the rest of it. What it probably is the fact we're using GarageBand. I reckon probably something like that. Anyway, what we need from you people is any suggestions in terms of audio stuff. If anyone is a bit of a nose with that kind of thing, and any suggestions in terms of guests as well. Because when we do square this circle, that's the next port of call. Is going and finding some guests. We've got some in the works and we've got some kind of ideas. Haven't we?
We were just talking about this off air in the first ever kind of like business-esque meeting that we've had, which lasted about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he's over a year in. That's good, isn't it?
So like the frustrating thing is most podcasts struggle to get guests on. That's kind of where the
bottleneck.
That's where they become unstuck. We actually have got a lot of people lined up who would be willing to come on. The thing that's stopping us is the low-hanging fruit of getting a reliable setup.
Yeah, so it's annoying.
Which is just so frustrating.
Like I say, so as soon as we square that away, we should have access to a decent flurry of guests, which will be ideal. And when I stop jetting around and doing all sort of mad stuff, we'll be a bit more stable, and we can actually just get loads of stuff banked in. And the thing is, you'll probably have noticed if you're an avid fan of the podcast, then our clips have slowed down. There was a period of time where we were pushing out like 3 a week, 2 a week, whatever.
Yeah, and they were doing well.
Yeah,
we kind of hacked the algorithm at one point. Yeah. We worked out that like split screen clip, so like it's just us gobbing off in the top, and then you overlay it with some relevant kind of like
footage,
B-roll, and then you caption it. They fly.
Yeah, And then we realised, because again, another issue with the mics was the fact it was for some reason recording on a different frame per second, so it would be like out, or like the audio and the video would be out
and like
straight away.
And like the longer the episode goes on, the more out
Yeah.
of sync it becomes. So unless you clipped up basically whatever you said in the first 10 minutes, like if you left it to the end of the podcast, and I'm sure people who used to watch on YouTube will know this, like you'd hear the audio, and about 5 seconds later your mouth would move.
So
it was
annoying.
So
and you can't post that.
You can't post that because you just look at that.
Yeah, you've just made it up. But yeah, so this setup will square that anyway, so we start doing that again, which is good. But yeah, that's our kind of issue at the moment in terms of the pod, and that's we had the time off because of locational issues, basically.
It wasn't a proper hiatus. We didn't have a domestic or anything. Like, you were just in Lanzarote, and for the week that I came out to visit you at the start, we forgot to actually kind of like batch cook.
Well, we did batch cook too.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a priority, was it? No, we set aside like an hour on the last night.
Yeah.
And just like,
Yeah, and also we committed not to do virtual pods, which we could have done. You could have hopped on Zoom.
I'm glad we didn't do that though.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather not put out content.
You lose so much more.
And then you've gone against your principles.
Oh
then.
yeah, we've done an actual segment on how not on the fact that we don't like them.
Because then you just become, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And I'm glad I'm not a villain. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the reason there was no pod in the last few weeks, because we couldn't break our principles.
But what you can take from that is A, tell us who you want us to interview.
Yeah.
And B, we are now back consistently.
Better than ever.
So there will be kind of some momentum building again with the podcast after what was our longest kind of off-air period.
Yeah, and to be fair, 2 weeks after about 13 months isn't that bad.
Pretty good going, to be fair.
Yeah, well, we've still done how many episodes are we on now? Do you reckon?
Well, we averaged one a week for a year.
So it'll be about 60.
So we're on about 60-ish, which is pretty good because we put a lot of effort into those episodes as well. It's not just us. I know increasingly of late we've just been gobbing off.
Yeah,
but there were some standout moments of
brilliance.
Of brilliance. Sprinkles of glitter on what is otherwise kind of a festering pile of manure. But
yeah. So anyway, that's our sort of dilemma at the moment with the pod. We are going to endeavour to sort that out. But this episode is basically just going to be sort of bringing you all up to speed with what's going to be going on for the next couple of months and what's been going on for the past couple of weeks.
It's a client check-in.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other for a few weeks.
Effectively,
where are we at? Have you wrapped?
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, we have.
Yeah, well, we wrapped. The coaches have wrapped. That doesn't bode well for you.
Yeah, exactly. Just follow the leader, as I said. But yeah, we essentially the last 4 weeks, I've been in Lanzarote. I flew back Tuesday. Ed's been here boxing off some half marathons, so we're just going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah, well, what was your overall take of... Because we spoke about Lanzarote in the last episode, so now, after spending about a month there, what was your kind of like take-home message of the island?
Yeah, it's an interesting place. So
very diplomatic answer.
I think we were quite scathing when we spoke about it, maybe. I don't know. So
I think you warmed to it slightly,
quite
didn't
literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so effectively, as we said, I think at the other episode, it's there for a few purposes. Basically, sun, sea, and restaurants is basically all that's there, and that didn't really change throughout my time there. But however, because you are longer in a kind of same place, you get to know the better restaurants, the better coffee shops, the better gyms, and so the texture of your week becomes a bit better. You know, because you go into better places and the quality of the food's better and whatever. And actually, I know you don't value the beach and the sea, but I definitely do. So that did make... I think there's a marked improvement in my mental health being kind of drastic, but that's the word for it, I think.
Probably. Well, you're probably not vitamin D deficient at the minute.
No, I'm definitely not.
You will go back that way.
Yeah.
You start, supplementing it.
Yeah, well, I need to probably start supplementing. But yeah, that's a factor. The fact you can get in the sea whenever you want is definitely a factor. The fact you can, the evening walks you can go on are just that much more picturesque, so it incentivises you to go. and walk a little bit more, which we know is good for mental health and obviously physical health and stuff. The gym I was training in was really cool. The gym I train in here is shit.
Yeah, well, you got some good PRs, didn't you? We
That
were
was
speaking about this.
fantastic, yeah.
I think that definitely played a role in you landing those PRs. I don't want to take anything away from your training or physical capability, but I think change of scenery and a good gym.
100%.
It's like, especially when you get to those kind of numbers where it's fine margins, the more you can kind of twist in your favour, it all adds up, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think there was a bit of a Parkinson's law effect with it because I hit all those PRs in basically the last 3 days or whatever.
Which is mad because it's like a culmination
fatigue
of about,
and stuff.
I don't know, like 6 months of
exactly.
work in the UK. It's a bit deceiving, really, because it looks like you've just gone to Lanzarote and banged them out.
Yeah,
but it's actually all carried through, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I started working quite, like, I guess, seriously towards that, like, probably October last year. So we're looking at 7 months or whatever. But, yeah, you're right. I think there was a bit of an effect from being in a gym with, like, brand new equipment on my own, in the sort of scenery that we were in. And I'd said to myself in my head a little bit at the start of that trip that I'd like to hit it before the end of this trip because then I have to go back to the UK and use the shit equipment there. So I was like, there was a bit of a Parkinson's law thing where I was like, well, I've got these 3 weeks, let's try and make it happen. And on the kind of Thursday before I went for them all, I just felt really, really good on that day. And then I took the day after it, I took it off and then went in on Saturday, smashed loads of caffeine and smashed it up.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, they're 3 lifts that I've been looking at and chasing for fucking ages. So I'm buzzing with that.
That's good, and you can go get your eyes back on track now, basically.
Yeah,
it's been hanging over you for a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of because it's one of those things, and we spoke about it a lot probably off air, is that there's a physiological limit of strength and power you can produce when you're trying to balance endurance and strength, whereas if you go pretty heavily into the one direction, you can upregulate that sort of progress pretty quickly, and that's what I did really. I scaled my running back really significantly, focused in on a program for the weightlifting, and then that obviously worked.
That's it. Well, there's you only have a finite amount of energy.
Yeah.
So, like, the further down one road you go, the less you can put into other aspects of your 100%, training.
Yeah, it's adaptation energy is a real thing over 7 days, and if you use a bit of that for, a speed session or whatever, then that's energy you can't use towards your snatch pulls on the next day or whatever.
I know, and it's like when you see kind of like professional athletes on Instagram, like cracking everything. It's like it's taken them years to adapt to that amount of volume.
Oh yeah,
It's different for them because they can handle that amount of volume. Like if a normal person tried to do that much training, they would soon realise that they have a very finite amount of energy.
That's it. Yeah. So
and you'd either have to rein it in or get injured. Basically, like you'd either put the brakes on or your body would put the brakes on for you.
Yeah. So that adaptation energy is a real thing, but it gets expanded. That capacity expands over time. So those people you see on Instagram who are doing all these crazy things just have a massive capacity for that. So it's a bit deceiving, and it's obviously all relative. But even those people, if you actually look into their kind of training, what they are doing is maintaining one thing and pushing for another thing. They're not really pushing all in on both.
It's impossible to...
Because you can't.
You can't progressively overload everything forever.
No. Because
you have to be focusing on one thing. That's why you periodise training, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Because if you could, everyone would be squatting 500 pounds because you just add 5 pounds to the bar every week, and then all of a sudden you've got fucking.
And it's like, and you're also like shaving 5 seconds off.
Yeah,
your intervals every week. And then it's like, it doesn't work.
Running a 15-minute 5k and a 500 pound squat. Yeah, but obviously, like you say, you have to at some times push more into the other direction. So I was then running once a week for about 40 minutes, and then just lifting.
And it worked?
It worked. So
there you go.
Fantastic.
Happy days.
I haven't actually weighed myself since I come back, but I don't think I'm heavier, which we were always contending as the issue in terms of there's a big difference, obviously, with how much you weigh, how much you can lift, certainly in those lifts.
Well, mass moves mass.
Mass moves mass, doesn't it? And so
it was probably more of just like a fatigue thing, potentially, because it's just your central nervous system, really, isn't it? With that kind of
1,000%, yeah.
So you're just probably basically a bit cooked.
Even a little detraction in your explosivity or whatever means you can't get the bar a millimetre higher and whatever. And it's so fine, like you say, it's fine margins. But no, it's good, and now I can start focusing on fucking fitness
all
again.
the other shit we've signed up to this
Yeah.
year.
Speaking of, just ran a 5k.
Hey, what did you do?
I did quite well actually. 18:54.
Fucking hell, that's quick. Well, I haven't done a 5. I don't think I've ever done a 5k test
Have you not?
properly. My Garmin says I'm at like 21:30.
You probably beat that on a track, I reckon.
Yeah, on a track.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I did mine. But yeah,
I do need to do what. So my training for the minute. Actually, no. Do you want to talk about your fucking 5k first?
No. Go for your...
my training now. So you've obviously started your new training block, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
And are you following your hybrid program?
Yeah, so my hybrid program now is working towards effectively ATHEX in September, and so I've just jumped on that.
Yeah. So I'm basically the same, but I've got a half marathon this Sunday, and another one the following Sunday, and it's been a weird month because I've done 3 halves in May, and we were talking about this off air. You can't really do much in the week.
In terms of running and stuff.
Well, yeah, because when your week's bookended by
both,
a half
both
marathon,
sides
so
as
it's
well.
like the first few days afterwards, you kind of doing very little because you want to recover. Midweek, you can probably do something of like moderate to high intensity, but then like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you want to then take your foot off the gas again.
Yeah, so then you feel good on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So I've had a month of that basically. So it's been a bit frustrating, really. But once I'm on the other side of that, I will also be like jumping back on a proper progressive training program.
The good thing is you've still been getting a decent amount of mileage in week on week, and that 13 miles isn't like useless. It's still accruing some sort of value.
It's annoying that I've had to do it all in one block because obviously the other side of this, I will divvy it up so I can then do more across the entire week.
Yeah, well,
but the individual runs will be shorter.
If you were to do them every 2 weeks, it'd be much easier because you could push for a bit. But like you say, if they're either end of the same week, like 7 days apart, you have to be a little bit smarter with things. But it's it'll be good for you to get into a better proper routine again.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on my hybrid program to then build towards like the Hyroxes and the ATHEXs that we've got in like a few months' time. And I've got kind of races and stuff in between them.
There, but they won't.
But like because they're so infrequent, I can work around them as opposed to basically kind of like block booking out an entire month where I'm just treading water.
Yeah, exactly. ATHEX is first, isn't it? It's 1st of September.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got to work for that first, and that's again, it's a pairs thing. We've probably got to play to our own strengths, right? Because obviously,
well, I'm doing the ergs, aren't I? Are you doing the 5k?
No, you can't do that anymore.
Oh, you've got to do but you've got to do
So
you've got to do a bit of each, haven't you?
Yes.
But
so
like it doesn't.
You'll have to do the 1k ski, and I'll run, and then I'll have to do the entire 2k row, and you'll be running for that period of time. Then you finish the bike, and then I run. So you've got to train your ski and your bike. I've got to train my row and my run. And you've got
That's
to
alright, because I fucking hate rowing.
Yeah, so do I.
And I quite like skiing because I've got a heavy upper body.
Yeah, you can just throw your mass into it.
So I just lean into it.
Yeah, that's fine. And you've only got to do a K on that. And then the bike, you are better than me at. You can just, because you're heavier, hold better pace.
Oh, okay, so that's not the end of the
world. That kind of works. And as long as we can both hold half decent running, we'll be alright.
And then the strength zone is different this year, isn't it? Is
that's
it like
going to be an issue.
Deadlift and pull-ups?
Deadlift, pull-ups, shoulders overhead.
Right, yeah. So the deadlift and the pull-up, not so much of an issue for me. So I've got to learn.
Pull-up will be fine for me.
I've got to learn to jerk, basically.
Yes, yeah, or at least push, press or something
properly.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally jerk.
Yeah, ideally. But
or if I can do like if I can do a decent jerk with a light load.
Yeah.
And then work on my push press.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best.
Yeah, probably because it's a 3 rep. So a split jerk probably isn't the right thing anyway because it takes a lot of energy to do 3 reps of that. But
that push jerk.
Yeah, probably that's probably the best.
An amalgamation of the two.
That's probably the best way because you get to recover a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And it's a 3, and then it's a 1 rep pull up, which I did the other week. Actually.
That's actually sound.
That's fine.
I don't think I'll need to do.
How much do you reckon you've got on that?
Now?
Yeah.
Well, probably not great. Like if I actually trained for it,
but
like, a lot.
Yeah. How much do you reckon's a lot? I don't know because I don't really have any.
3 rep max.
You had like 55 or something. 60,
yeah, so maybe. I could actually probably do.
Yeah, I did 64 the other day.
That's good. Yes, we'll smash the pull-up.
Well, it should do alright on that. But the deadlift's the one in it because I know some people will just rock up and be able to pull 240 and just be.
They will, won't they? I'm all right at deadlifting, but I will have to work on that.
Yeah, but only a bit. You won't have to do too much.
No,
I don't think.
Well, it's the cardio that I need to. Is always my Achilles heel.
That's the whole point of them, isn't it? That you have to balance both. The whole point of that event. But the last bit will be right on.
Yeah,
Burpees
we're always kind of
and
like,
shit.
we always keep our. We always have a bit of skin in the game with that. I feel like we never really de-skill ourselves with.
You can always do burpees. Like.
We can always do metcons and stuff.
They're only like 10 minutes anyway. So that's the first thing is Athex. Then we've got High Rocks, which is a bit later on down the line, which is just running, as we know.
Yeah, I mean it's just compromised running.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
get used to running with heavy legs. That's going to be, part of our training at some point.
Well, it's going to have to be for Athex anyway because you have to go from the row to the run or whatever.
Yes, it's quite good. So there's crossover, isn't there?
Yeah, and then we've got this big one.
Yeah, the charity event.
Are we gonna?
Yeah, we may as well. We're gonna do it. So.
Yeah, so towards the end of the year, this is an idea inspired by something a branch of the Marines did like ages ago, but it's effectively the three peaks in the UK, which is Ben Nevis, Snowdonia or Snowdon, and Scafell Pike. And that's a normal challenge as you drive between the two.
Yeah, so that's the three-peak challenge when you just kind of like summit the peaks
in a weekend
and drive between them.
Yeah, is it 24 hours? I think
you're supposed to do it in a day. Yeah, but most people just kind of like just crack it.
Yeah, so we're going to do that, but take it up a notch, and we're going to cycle between them. So it's like I think it's like 400 miles of cycling or whatever. So it's a lot. It's a long way, and then you've got to obviously summit the peaks individually as well,
which will feel fucking minor.
Oh yeah, the peaks is not the thing.
That's the easy bit, really.
Yeah, well, it's getting from fucking Scafell to the Scotland or whichever way you go.
No, it's like
you're going down.
You want to finish close to home,
yeah,
so we'll do Ben Nevis first, which is obviously the highest as well.
Yeah,
and then we'll move south and finish at Snowdon.
Yes,
so then we're close to home.
And but like that long cycle will be over a few days, and so that's going to be a 7-day time cap for that one. We'll see.
We're gonna try and do that in a week, and we're probably gonna do it in late summer, we said autumn because of the weather, basically. So it won't be stinking, but it also won't be too hot.
Yeah, and as we sit right now, I haven't got a road bike.
You haven't got a road bike. I've done a total of about 40k this year on an actual bike. I've been doing quite a lot of bike work. But just in a gym, it's completely different.
It is different. I need to probably get myself familiarised with that.
You need to get a road bike, or at least I don't know whether you can long term hire them or borrow them off someone.
I'll have to get one, I guess. I don't know. I could borrow Jay's. This year though, I've done a minimal amount of endurance as a whole thing. I haven't really ran far. I've been just lifting, and today was a 5k, which I did well at, but that's fucking 20 minutes. So.
Yeah, you've always got that in your locker. Oh, well, you haven't always got it in your locker, but you can.
I can turn it on.
It's just annoying, really.
That's fucking weird. That distance, especially, I'm pretty good at. That was actually a lifetime PB, which is mental.
Yeah, see, that's bullshit. Because
bollocks,
you've come off the back of no running for a month. So that's bollocks, that is.
Yes, that's good. But so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna have to probably try and put more effort into running. The only other thing we've got to mention is the coach that now works for my coaching company is doing a marathon with a Bergen on, so a 25 kilo weighted Bergen. He's doing a marathon distance aiming for 5 hours, which is fucking mental. And I'm pacing him for that, obviously unweighted. So I've got to kind of train myself up to just be able to handle that distance. So that's the next thing. That'll be in August.
It's a lot harder for him than it is for you.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I've got to at least be able to hold my own because fucking imagine if I'm hanging out as well.
Yeah, you can't compromise. You can't compromise that run
by you just being a sack.
By you being a sack, like, that wouldn't reflect very well on you.
No, I don't. I need to do a few long runs and I'll be good to go, I think. Because I mean, 5 hours isn't tremendously fast for unweighted, but
no, it's just about time on feet, really.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think your fitness wouldn't.
No,
your fitness wouldn't
VO2
fail.
max wouldn't fail me.
No. It would be kind of like a niggle or something, just because your body's not conditioned to the impact, basically.
Yeah, so that's you up to date on our kind of fitness endeavours over the next couple of weeks and months.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Well, the thing is, I was saying this before, we sort of started slow this year. Last year it was the opposite, really. We sort of started with marathon, did whatever,
which is good, because by this time last year, I felt like very accomplished.
Yeah.
And then we had like a few months of like
R&R
and kind of getting the ball rolling with the podcast.
Sure, yeah.
And then we basically bookended the podcast with like the marathon, and then shit at the end of the year.
High rocks and stuff, yeah.
Which was good, but whereas we've kind of like, we've
almost left everything till the end of the year, really, this year. Like we've got a very busy period from sort of August to December sort of thing.
Yeah, we've deliberately kind of left Christmas free this year because we ended up working all the way up to Christmas last year, didn't we? And it felt a bit rushed. But up to early December is going to be pretty hectic, I think.
It is, and also one of my goals was a fucking 50k ultra, which I've got to put in there somewhere.
I looked back on my goals that I posted at the end of last year the other day.
Okay, yeah.
And the only thing that we haven't really accounted for at the minute is the ultra that you said we were going to do, which is frustrating because we've actually ended up doing other stuff that we didn't say we were going to do.
Yeah.
But I still feel like we haven't fulfilled that if we leave it. But
we can just do it self-staged if we need to, can't we?
Yeah, on a canal or something.
It doesn't have to be a race.
Make it as easy as possible. Like, we'll just do it. Get dropped off 50 kilometres worth of canal away and just run back in an entire day.
Yeah, it'd be a great day.
Yeah,
it'd just be a scranning contest, basically.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's us for the next couple of months, and we'll obviously, as always, keep you up to date as how things are going. But your 200 kg squat and my 100 kg snatch was the strength things that we were kind of both looking at the tail end of last year. Now they're out of the way, which is good. And yeah, I think closer in the future, we've got a client event from my guys, which is in Bolton, which is going to be cool. That's sort of just an afternoon of sessions, effectively, to further provide value to the clients, which is kind of cool. And then the one that you'll be more involved with is the other one, the 16th of June. Are you about for that?
Yeah, that's the day that England kick off their Euro campaign as well, isn't it?
It is.
So we've got your
phenomenal.
I'm running the Manchester Half Marathon the morning of your event next week.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So we're going to crack that. It's like 20 past 8 start. It works quite well.
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
So then I'll be finished by I don't know, 10:30, 11.
Yeah, and I'll just be cheering you on.
And they've got showers, haven't they, at Hybrid Performance Centre? So I can literally just get in the car, go back to the hotel, get in the car, drive to Hybrid Performance Centre. I can do the ablutions there.
Yeah.
And then
I can set everything up.
You can set everything up.
Yeah, because it's 12:30. Get started.
Yeah, and I can park myself, get some time off feet.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll be happy days.
You got nothing to worry about. But
you're right. So the one on the 16th is probably I'll be a bit more involved with that.
Yes, yeah.
So I won't have just ran a half marathon, so I'll probably be a lot more energised as well.
Well, you've got more, like you say, more involvement in that one anyway. So that's another seminar. So much like the ones we ran last year, slightly different, I guess, because this one is just an afternoon of sessions. I think last time on reflection was a little bit too long.
Well, they certainly got a lot of value for money, the guys that did come,
yeah.
But I think it was just slightly too
much overbearing
potentially for people like looking, whether they wanted to come or not. Because a full day is kind of a big commitment if it's at the weekend. And
yeah, and also it's a lot to take on. Information-wise, I know it's dense, isn't it?
It seems it's relative, I guess, isn't it? It's not a lot to us because we already know the information. But
if it's all new stuff,
if it's all new to you, it's a bit of a mindfuck, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we've done essentially is just distilled it down, given it a half day now, so it's sort of 12 till 6 or whatever, and then and this one's actually free. So last time we sort of charged £100 a ticket. This time it's going to be absolutely free for people. We just with an optional donation to charity, which is kind of cool opportunity to do, and we obviously will have more people come for that reason. So it'll be a good.
Tickets are selling fast.
Yeah, they are. It'll be a good crack. So
if you want to see your favourite influencers,
we'll bang the link below. The only thing we haven't announced yet is the guest speaker. So that's still to come, but. Get yourself a ticket because they will sell out.
We promise it will be a good speaker as well.
Yeah,
it won't just be one of our mates.
We don't do half measures. It's not just Ed.
Yeah, yeah. Some people do that. It's a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, some people do. That's mad. That
we actually reach out to people who are
and pay them
who are effectively better than us.
Yeah,
because
we haven't got an ego.
Yeah, because they have more profound things to say than me and you.
Yeah, exactly. And I can already say what.
Ultimately, have life experience, which we don't. So.
Yeah, so they provide more value. So they have a couple of events coming up in the near future, and there'll probably be another couple, I guess, that maybe go ahead. But these have been hard enough to bloody organise, to be honest. So make sure you get yourself to them. They will be good. And like you say, the 16th of June is the first England.
Yeah, so after the second seminar that we've just spoken about, we're probably going to try and integrate that into proceedings. So if anyone wants to stay over or behind after the event, we'll probably go somewhere local to the Hybrid
100%.
Performance Centre and watch the England game
BAs.
as kind of a bit of an ad hoc edition.
Social.
An ad hoc social at the end of the event base, because we'll watch it anyway. So if the people that are there want to watch it with us, we may as well make a thing of it.
100%. We did a similar-ish thing last time where a couple of the guys came out in Birmingham with us, but
yeah,
it's a bit better because we've football to watch and we're not in Birmingham. So
yeah, we've got an England game and ultimately we're not in Birmingham, which is a shithole.
Which is a massive plus.
Actually, that's what I want to talk about. I just the last half marathon I did was the Birmingham half marathon.
Yeah.
And running 13 miles around Birmingham really brought it home to me how shit Birmingham is.
It is shit.
Because when you're I wasn't even in the locker because I did it at zone 2 because it was so hot.
Yeah.
So, which made it worse really because I could then focus on
how shit.
Yeah, because I wasn't fixated on pacing or time.
Yeah, you're better off
just
sending that because then it's over quicker and you haven't got any energy to focus on how shit it is.
There are small pockets of Birmingham that are nice. So around Edgbaston Cricket Ground, like Cannon Hill Park, that's very nice and kind of like gentrified.
Yeah.
But like there are other parts of Birmingham that are just shit.
I know.
And they're not even because they're rough. It's just dull.
Yeah.
Like the finish line was in Digbeth on what I can only describe as an industrial wasteland.
That's good.
It's just somewhere, a building had been levelled, basically, and nothing had been built there. So it was just a large kind of like concrete expanse, which is a good open space, but like it's not really where you want to finish the end of a 13-mile run.
No. Because the thing is as well, the organisers of that event have an opportunity there to make Birmingham look as good as possible.
Yeah.
So they can choose the route to make it as picturesque as possible. And then they choose the finish line to be somewhere nice and cool where we can, But it sounds like they've done the opposite. Well, and then everyone coming to the event just goes, "Oh, Birmingham's shit, isn't it?"
So I've ran it in the past, and they used to really dig out. So you'd like start on Broad Street and finish at Millennium Point, and like the route would be a bit varied. Whereas this year, you start on Broad Street, which is a shithole. You do basically an out and back. I'd say 3/4 of the route are on, like where you run out. Yeah. You then come. You can immediately see the people coming in the opposite direction, which is just like, again, the laziest way to put on. Shit. The laziest way to.
I hate those events. Those are literally the worst. Even the Manchester full marathon was like that though.
Yeah,
which is
so
shit,
stink. And I get it because it's like you're in a big city, so like there's always a tension between like road closures and putting on a good event. But like, it's a Sunday morning, like once a year.
And those people are paying for that event. Just use that money to close the event.
Races are getting expensive now.
Yeah.
If you sign up to kind of like a half or a full marathon in a major city, so like Manchester or Birmingham or whatever, it's the best part of £50.
I know, from every participant. Surely they can put that towards.
That's loads of money.
I know, it's mad, especially bigger marathons, like you say, because they like tens of thousands of runners.
Yeah, the only exception to that really is London, because the actual London Marathon is such an iconic event. It kind of outweighs the need for traders' access to Dixon's.
It eclipses the importance of just using the roads.
Yeah, exactly. But it would appear that every other running race in other cities, like the actual kind of like day-to-day kind of traffic and trade, is still,
which, as we've said,
more important.
We've now done the best event ever, and so we've just ruined ourselves.
Well,
so we've started at the best, and now we can only get worse, basically.
Well, I've got Chester on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is one of the longest...
It's a nice place, though. No?
It is one of the longest running half marathons in the country, I believe, and it is quite a highly respected race because it's a qualifying race or something. I don't know. I'm not running north, so I don't know. But
fair. Yeah.
I think it's quite big in the running community, so we'll see.
Even that, was it Warwick we did last year? That was a good one.
Warwick was good because it was all rural.
Yeah, and it was a loop. Fundamentally,
and it was a loop. So because all the country lanes kind of look the same. And I'd never been there before. I didn't really know where I stood.
No, so that's what I imagine Chester's a bit like.
I think it is, yeah. Because Chester's not a massive place.
Well, that's what I mean.
I think you start at the race course, which is nice. It's a bit like Warwick.
That's it, yeah.
I think you do loads of rural shit. Actually run past Dan Nightingale's gaff because he lives in Sorgal. And I looked at the route and I was like, hey, fucking...
That's class. Give me a little fucking shout out.
Yeah, he'll probably be in bed, hungover.
Yeah. Won't be running.
He certainly won't be running. And then I think you finish in the centre, but I'm hoping a lot of it is kind of out in the sticks.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good.
I'd rather that.
I think
to
it
be
will
honest.
be,
Especially if it's going to be quite hot as well, because then at least the country lanes give you a bit of.
Because typically, you look at a place, you can almost tell how the half is going to be. The Chester's like a nice, posh, gentrified place.
Yeah.
You can almost tell they're going to probably invest into that half marathon a bit.
Big running community in the northwest as well.
Is there? Yeah.
Well, there isn't there? Because like Rill got a good turnout.
Oh yeah.
Because it's kind of on that belt, isn't it? It's not too far away from like Manchester or Liverpool. And that's just that shithole along the seafront.
Yeah.
And that got a good turnout. So.
Yeah, so this one should be busy. That'd be good.
And then the week after we've got Manchester, which I know is good because I've run it before.
Are you aiming for anything on these, or are you just going to get them done?
Sub 2.
Just sub 2.
So the 12 halves that I'm doing this year, basically I just want to get them sub 2. I'll be happy with that. And then like, towards the end of the year, obviously when my cardiovascular fitness picks up, you know, around kind of high rocks and athletics and stuff, I'll probably then try and get a PB around that. But at the minute...
Well, you'll be so attuned there to that distance. You'll probably find you'll be able to pick a PB up pretty easily.
I'm not doing any like speed work really at the minute.
No.
Because I'm balancing...
Doing them at each end of the week. But obviously at that point, I will be doing kind of like compromise running and speed intervals. So they'll all feed in.
So it'll all feed in together. I'm hoping it'll all come together at the end of the year in a nice little fucking...
culmination.
In a nice little ribbon PB.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, well, you can't really smash every single one of them if you're doing 12. I had a little idea, which I don't think I'll do now because of how my back feels after that 180 squat. But I had an idea of a 400-pound squat and a 40-minute 10K in close proximity. 400 pounds is like 181 or something.
Yeah,
you know,
heavy.
something ridiculous. So, and then obviously 40-minute 10K is quick as well. But I don't know if I'm going to bother with that because I need to deadlift now.
Well, certainly not this year. It's something you can keep in your back pocket for the future. It could be
I never want 180 kilos on my back.
I know, it could be a 2025 thing, but I think we've got enough on our plate at the minute.
Well, I need to start deadlifting really, because that's the next port of call. My deadlift is horrendous and always has been. So
that bodes well for ethics.
Yeah,
but I don't think we've really got anything else to say.
No, we were going to talk about what time is it? Oh yeah, we've got
other commitments.
We better call it, yeah.
Yeah, we can save the other stuff for another episode. I think we'll probably do an episode on that actually.
That'll be next. That'll be next episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right. Sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little catch up. Just again bringing you up to speed with where we've been, and the reason for the hiatus, I guess, and then just what the plans are in the next kind of couple of months.
Yeah.
So we will now just endeavour to keep you abreast with all of our exploits.
Back on the horse.
Back
stronger.
That's it. But yeah, that's it. Anything from you?
Negative. Well, you've got to get off, so we might as well we'll wrap it.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. And this one now will go out on Monday, and then we'll be on the weeklies again.
And then we're back in the usual schedule.
Momentum, people. Like, subscribe, comment, all the rest of it. See you next time.
See you next week.